All right, Darth. So I think that we are live. Hopefully, if anybody is watching this so far in the chat, if you could just say one, that you can hear me, and two, that you can see me, that would be awesome. My wife tried to log into the stream, and it said something about you have to start a channel to chat. So hopefully, well, I'm starting to see you guys are chatting. Perfect. Super echo. Interesting. Let's see. Give me one sec. Still have an echo?
What about now? Is the echo gone? All right, let's see if that sounds better. I just turned down the volume. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get started. Obviously, it's 8:01 on the 21st of March. And let's take a look at the charts. So obviously, charts are always going to be on the left-hand side is my oil, and gold is on the right side. So we've had here pretty much a steady decline in oil this morning, and gold seems to kind of be just ranging at this 2209 area. So we'll kind of watch that one. Remember, gold is from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And currently I'm trading session 2 in oil. So that starts at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Let's take a look really quickly at the charts from yesterday. I'm just doing this as if I would be doing my normal videos each morning, and then I will start looking for trades. And I'm also going to go over how I come up with my levels in the morning, so you might find that a little bit interesting. So session 1 yesterday in oil, we had an inside bar at 8:10 in the morning. We got activated into the long, really nice trade, 32 ticks. Session 2, we had an inside bar at 9:15. Same thing, we get activated into the long, and that one was 13 ticks. I think there was a member on Discord yesterday that stated, I think there's been 4 consecutive trades in session 2 at 13 ticks, which is true. So that's, I don't know if it's coincidental. Yesterday, we did not have any trades in gold. We did get an inside bar at 8 a.m., so this would have been from 8 a.m. to 8:05. And that there's not a valid setup because of the fact that you'd be using the source bar from 7:55 to 8 a.m. as your take profit and stop loss. That's pre-session, so that would not be a valid trade. Echo's gone. Okay, that's good. Cool. All right, so let me put these away so that I can track. I don't think I'm going to be trading today on my cash account, just because I have to keep this OBS software running for the live stream and the chat on my main screen, and that really takes up most of my trading space that I like to trade on. So I'm just going to be looking for trades on the eval, on the charts here on the top. So again, we are getting an inside bar here generated on gold. The indicator that I have here is a inside bar indicator by TradeSaber. It is a free indicator. If you go to his website or his Discord, he's got that indicator that you can download for free. And I like it because if you've got equal highs, you're able to, it still considers it an inside bar. There are some indicators that are out there, especially on TradingView, that do not consider equal high or equal lows as inside bars. So just make sure that the indicator that you're using does factor that in, because I do consider that to be an equal high, equal low. I am really looking for consolidation, kind of like an explosion out of that inside bar range, and that's kind of been the premise for this inside bar strategy that I've started in oil and in gold. All right, so it seems like, I guess some people say they can't hear me, or I won, but everybody else says that the echo is okay. I did turn down my mic volume, so if you can't hear me, I can maybe try turning this thing back up. But, okay, echo's gone. Everybody can hear me okay? How's the quality of the stream? Like, does it look blurry on your end, or does it look pretty good? I have an echo. That's interesting. I don't know how to fix that necessarily. Now it's gone. Okay. So again, this is the first time I go live. I just putting this out for members of Discord. I figured you guys would be a lot less ruthless to me if this was a complete and utter failure. And the plan would be is to go live. I'm not sure what my frequency would be, but at least I'm going to try to go once a week. And I'm thinking maybe on Wednesdays, since that's oil inventory day. And there's typically some news events on Wednesday. So I think that might be a good day for me to try it. It's hard because it's kind of, I have to do a work balance, and I'm obviously trading live at the same time. And this live does take a long time because, you know, when I do my videos, I can cut the video off and go do what I got to do. But here, I'm pretty much pot committed into trading here with you guys until 10 o'clock, or if we cut it off a little bit earlier, depending if we get some trade setups. So now that we're just looking at charts, let's go over some of the stats for March. Oil session 2 has just been absolutely killing it. We are up 221 ticks for oil session 2. And if the ticks do not match up perfectly with what your stats are, remember that now in my strategy, once we get to about 70% take profit, I am lowering my risk on these trades. So looks like oil probably will have a setup here. Oil session 1. You will get a little bit of a discrepancy because remember, I am doing that risk. I think it's come into play once. And if we look at the numbers for oil session 1, that's up 65 ticks. So that could be a session that we add here very shortly. Gold currently is down 17 ticks. As I mentioned, we went through like 2 or 3 days of max losses in gold consecutive, so that hurt the stats. And then the 15-minute Rob reversal, I'm up 105 points, which equates to 420 ticks. And that number, even that number is, I don't know, should I trade session 1? I haven't traded it at all, but I think it would be, I guess, interesting to take a trade here. It's kind of outside of my rules, but why not? So I'll kind of show you guys how I get into these trades with the inside bar. I use this order management indicator from Trade Devils. I've had this thing for about 2 years, and it gives me these buttons to kind of get me into these trades. If I want to get in anywhere on the chart, I just click Buy Chart, and I can move my entry to wherever I want. Now, the one that I use a lot is the buy up and the sell down. I'll kind of show you, since I know this is going to be an inside bar, the orders get bracketed, And then right there, you're waiting for on this inside bar to see which way price action goes. So we'll see here what happens in oil session one. I haven't traded oil session one in about 2 months, so I'm just doing this honestly for the stream. And another thing I had was another question that I had for you guys was, what do you guys think about music on the stream? Like, I've watched, trades by Matt and a few others that are out there. Some have some light music in the background, some others don't. I mean, I do like to talk, so I mean, that's not a real issue for me. I don't think that the chat's going to go silent very often, but I was just wondering if some light music would be something that would be beneficial to the stream. Yeah, Bill, I am taking one for the team. This is strictly for the stream and see if let's see if we can get a win here in oil session one. Now, another caveat to, okay, no, it's very distracting. Good. Light music would be okay. I guess that's the problem when you ask so many people a question, you're going to get a lot of different responses. But I'll take a look at all the summary of all of the answers and kind of make a determination. I'm thinking maybe if there goes through a pause period where there's not much activity going on, that I could put some music on. So we'll see. Here's a little caveat to this order entry system that I use from Trade Devils. When you do use the buy up and sell down buttons, you got to remember that these bracket orders will continue on to the next candle. And that is not part of the strategy. I want these orders, my order to go long and my order to go short, which remember, these are OCO orders, meaning order cancels other order cancels the other order. If this next bar doesn't activate me, these brackets will go down. So right there, we're in a trade. We did get activated into the long. What I do is I will put my stop loss right to the bottom of our source bar. So we're looking at about 21 ticks. And we have 21 ticks of take profit. So remember, my strategies in oil and gold is 1-to-1. The only thing now that I'm managing at this point is my stop loss. If we do get to 70% of take profit, then I will reduce my stop loss. In this case, I would probably go to 10 ticks. Now we also do have, for those that are probably wondering on my chart, I do have this yellow dashed line. That is strictly just the overnight open. And I've kind of always kept that on my oil and gold chart. I don't use it obviously for anything discretionary, but I do use it as a reference point, because I do know that price action likes to gravitate to it. It also likes to bounce off of it. Usually you'll get one bounce off, which in this scenario, it might not be the greatest take profit location, but typically you'll get a bounce off. If it keeps bouncing, then you'll usually get a very, very strong push through it. Then on the flip side, you can also get kind of a retest of it. So that's what this gold line is. But besides that, I really don't have any other indicator or no other filter on my chart. I don't have any filters on my chart. I take each setup as they come. So we're down about 45 bucks on this trade. Again, oil session one is something I haven't been trading at all. Just really did it for, I guess, entertainment purposes right now on the stream. But we'll see here if it hurts. And while this trade's going, I'll pull up my dashboard in Top Step. So on this eval that I'm currently just been trading the morning oil and gold, we are sitting at $51,128. So we do have a pretty nice buffer in that, and looks like we are probably going to take this loss here in oil session 1. Let's see. I'm in short CL. Big difference. Yeah, so Matt, there is a big difference between the CL and MCL as far. All right, so we got tapped out of that trade. That was a loss of 21 ticks. And I am trading this on the micros. So just make sure that you guys understand that I'm trading this on 4 micro contracts, so it's very small trade depending on the size of the trade. But I do go off of the CL chart, which I do have in another monitor that I'm looking at. So if I pull up this chart right here, you'll see that we got an inside bar on the CL, which is what I base my trades off of. And obviously in this scenario, I didn't really look to see if exactly my take profit and my stop loss was based on this inside bar or not. But normally I would do that, and I especially would do that for session 2, which is the session that I normally trade. So currently down 89 bucks on the eval this morning. And we do look like, as of right now, I know in Discord we hate when we say we got a setup brewing in I would say a lot of the newer people to Discord that might not be super familiar with the strategies. They're just kind of looking for confirmation that what they're looking on their charts is right. And I know for some of the seasoned traders and for the traders that have been in Discord since back in October, I know maybe at times it could be a little frustrating for people to say, "Oh, there's a setup brewing," or "Hey, is there a setup here on the Rob reversal?" But you just got to remember that all traders start from the same place, including myself, including you that's looking at this live stream right now. We all started from pretty much from zero knowledge to the knowledge that we currently sit at. What I'm a big believer on, and one of the biggest reasons why I started this channel, and I'll kind of get into that in the stream too, as to why I started this and what I guess some of my goals are. But it's to help others. I mean, trading has been extremely difficult. I went through 2 years of just pure shit trading, and it was mainly because I would take that win, or I would take a win, just discretionary, looking at a chart, and start taking some strategies. Or I'd be looking on YouTube, I'd find a strategy and that would have, the title 99% win rate. And you'd look, and the video was posted like 3 days ago, and you would have 200,000 views, and the person on the channel already had 100,000 subscribers. And you'd say, okay, well, this has got to be something that's tradable. And then you'd load it on your trading view. You'd probably do some half-ass back testing. Sometimes when you're new, you don't even get to you don't even back test correctly, and your mind will actually start to see trades that only work, because you'll see a losing trade and you don't want a trade to ever lose. So then you say mentally you'll say to yourself, well, I wouldn't have been in that trade because of so and so. Well, fine. But then that's a condition. That is now a condition for whenever you see that to come up again, that you're not going to take that particular trade. And that was the biggest issue. once you're new to a strategy that you don't have much trust in besides what you've been looking at on a trading view chart, and then you get that first loss, or you might get that first win, you get super excited, you might get another win, and then what do? You raise up the contract size, you raise up your positioning size, you take that loss, and you're like, oh shit, this strategy doesn't work, this sucks, and you move on to the next one. And it's this vicious cycle that traders get into that ultimately is what hurts us the most. And that is honestly why I moved over to condition and rule-based trading. And for one reason mainly, is because it does not allow me to overtrade. I have scenarios where, before you would revenge trade, and trust me, it creeps into my head. It creeps into my head all the time. I'll look at a chart now in gold or in oil, especially on a day that I lost, and I'll be like, well, you know what? We're probably going to get a bounce here off the overnight open, or you know what? We're going to fill a gap in over here and want to take a trade because that's what you think is going to happen. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it actually works out. But in the long run, what I have found is that unless you have very clear conditions as to when you're going to get into a trade, the revenge trading never works out. And the day that it does is actually the worst day possible for you, because let's say you're down $800 and you take that trade that you make $1,000 on. Well, now you're gonna say to yourself, whenever you get yourself back into that same position or situation, then you're gonna say, well, I'm just gonna take what I used to call a Hail Mary trade. I used to play football, and the Hail Mary was one of our favorite plays because it was one of the easiest way to get a touchdown, but it was also the most risky. And it's the same thing in trading. Honestly, the days that you get bailed out are some of the worst trading days that you can have, because that builds a really, really bad trading plan for you. It's not a plan at all. It's pretty much just wishing and hoping. So that is kind of the reason why I started to look at these strategies, develop some of these strategies, and really stay consistent. Like, already in the back of my head, I knew that I'm not trading session one, and I took this trade. Just obviously to the first one that came up and first time that I go stream, but I would never have taken this trade. I would want to see more positive results out of session one before I got back into this trade, which currently, I don't know if I told you guys this, but session one's sitting at 65 ticks of profit for the month. That's without this trade here, so minus out 21 ticks for that. So we've got 1 minute and 35 seconds left on gold. In gold, I am trading the E-mini, but I do base it off of the source bar. If it's a max size trade, I will go down. I have no issue going down to 5 micros of gold. So many fake trading gurus, but you are totally transparent in your trading. Yeah, that's honestly one of the things that, I knew that in YouTube in general and in this whole entire trading space, there are a lot of people that grow their channels very, very quickly. And from what I have now realized by actually doing this and doing these videos, is that I know how they grow their channels so quickly. It's with these sensational thumbnails. I mean, honestly, the thumbnail is one of the most important thing. And the more sensational that you can make your thumbnail, the more views you're going to get on your video, and the more views that you get on your video, the more subscribers you're going to get. So it's a business. It's definitely a business. Here, let's see. So we've got 5 seconds left on this one. I'm going to go sell down, buy up. So let's see if we can get ready. We can get into a gold trade here this morning. So here's where I have these issues with these stupid bracket orders. So I think that would have got us into a trade there, but looks like I took about a tick of slippage there. If I reduce down to my source bar, we're looking for 27 ticks. So $270 on this trade. We are in a trade short. So hopefully we do get a nice little push downwards here by sellers. Bigger trade, honestly. If again, I think if I wasn't on stream, I would probably be on half micros. But trading and adjusting my ATM strategies and everything like that makes things just a little bit more challenging right now. So we're in. Wow, that was a big move right there. That was almost a big flip. This style trading has helped me tremendously, Abdul. Yeah, that's it's helped me tremendously too. Another thing too is, when they talk about transparency, I don't remember having a green month. I might have had maybe 1 or 2 green months in my first 2 years of trading, but it was just a constant transfers of money from my Chase account into my Ninja brokerage or trade station, which is the platform that I was using prior. And it was this endless cycle. And, once I moved over to this rule-based strategies, it's very easy. It's very easy for me without even back testing, just looking at my Ninja Cash account and seeing it green for the last 7 months already told me that whatever I am doing, whatever strategy it is that I am working on, is working. I'm not making tons of money, but even here's another thing too to think about, and this is true in trading, and hopefully we can get sellers to kind of push this move out of here and take profit. That would be a really, really nice trade for this morning. Forgot where I was going with what I was saying right before. Now that I'm looking at this gold strategy here, but and that's what truly got me to a point where, it's not a ton of money that I am making in trading. So I have some months that I'll make, $800 green. I've had some months where I make $2,000 green. I've had some months where I've made, even up to $3,000 green. That isn't even as important. What is important is if you were like me, and what I consider to be pretty much a half shit trader for a good 2 years of my career, and you were always in the red. So let's say you were red $1,500, and now you're only up green $300 for the month. Well, guess what? That's an $1,800 swing in your favor. That's kind of the way you got to look at these strategies that might not have the greatest win rate. They might not make you the absolute most money every single day, but it's about keeping you green or not losing, even break even. Break even's a win because, again, it's not that constant red that I was always seeing. And once I started noticing that in my trading brokerage account, it was a good feeling. So I knew that I was onto something right. So it is important, the sessions for me. One of the questions in our live chat, one of the things that I also developed was session times, because if I didn't have session times, then that would leave me free to take trades whenever a setup occurred. And yeah, there could be times. I had a question in my channel, I think from my video yesterday, that stated, gold opens up at 7:30 in the morning. Why don't you trade 7:30 to 8? And that's the pre-session trade. Um, I guess not really pre-session to us. And yeah, there could be scenarios where I might add or reduce my session times. But again, I base it off of price action. Now, here's a great point. Like, here's 70%, I would say. Again, I'm visually doing it. So if I think it would be right there. Yeah, it's close enough. So right there, I reduced my risk down to half. This is the part of the trading of my new strategy, or my little tweak, that I don't like, to be honest with you, because I'm doing this visually. I would love to have something kind of built in where once 70% take profit hits, that that it would automatically reduce my risk here. So we're up about $220 on this trade. Need a nice little last minute push here to bring us to the finish line. Hopefully, I actually think that my take profit would have been at 22.011, because I did have a tick of slippage here, but let me take a look. So we got activated here to the short. Okay, well, I guess I didn't have to think about it much. So, as I like to say, banger of a trade. So it's actually, now you're hearing it from me now, instead of just getting it in, getting it on the chat. So, all right, so gold was a nice winner. That brought the eval up to $181 for the day, so that's fantastic. Now, the only other trade, and this is going to give me some time here now, because we'll be looking to trade something in oil session 2 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So it'll give me some time to show you guys my levels. That's something that I started to kind of introduce in Discord and on my videos, and I know it took probably a lot of people by surprise, saying, where the hell are these levels coming from? And I've even made videos on this particular topic. I have never, and let's just talk real for a little bit. I have never really been a good, let's just open up a chart. I'm not going to have these charts open right now because, again, oil session 1 is done. Gold is done for the day, so we're done. That's just one trade there. Now we've got probably a good 30 minutes before taking a look at oil session 2. So let me just open up here. Let me just open up a chart. This is the YM, and these are some labels and levels. If obviously everybody here is coming from Discord, but what I like to do is I like to do my morning levels. I honestly, I do it for Discord at about 7:45. But to be honest with you, I really like to see my levels, and I sometimes will plot my levels at, not the ones that I post, because those I keep and I don't want to change those, because then I'm going to get 100 questions as to why was a level changed. But around 8:15 is where I really start to hone in on these levels. Full disclosure, I do not trade these levels on my live cash account. So I do trade these with an eval account, a $50,000 eval account through TopStepX. And for the longest time, I had a very, very difficult time trading the ES. The ES to me, and that's what I started trading the futures on. I started with the ES, moved in, I dabbled into the NQ, never traded the Dow prior or the Russell. and I would do scalping strategies. I would try to get 1 point out of the market, 2 points out of the market. I moved to tick charts. I moved to range charts. I moved to candlestick charts. I was all over the place, and I really didn't have a I really didn't have that great of a strategy. Not that I'm saying that I have a great strategy right now, but I was never really good at looking at charts and figuring out support and resistant lines using VWAP, Bollinger Bands. I mean, shit, the technical indicator side, I mean, you can get lost in a chart. So even to today, as I chart my levels each morning, I'm not using any indicator. I have no EMA on these on these charts. I have no VWAP or anything like that. It's actually, and this is something over time. Now I know that there is a lot of traders out there, gurus, that will give you guys an indicator, a strategy. The issue that I had with the majority of those gurus was, how do I know what the right setup is? Is that guru taking this trade? Yes or no? And that was my biggest issue, because it seemed like every time they would come out and do a video, it would show, well, I made $15,000 today, or I made $140,000 today, or, as stupid as it can sound, I made $1 million today. And, they would show the trade, they would show the trade setup, and, then you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, now I could kind of see it on the chart, but how do I necessarily know that that's what's going to be coming the next time around? And I struggled with it. I struggled with it tremendously, because that is what got me into this vicious cycle of over trading, revenge trading. That first loss was a killer for me, because then I would try to get the second one in, and then it would be a win. I would be break even. And then you want to end off the day when you're green, the next one's a red, and it's just constantly this circle that keeps going over and over again that you really can't get yourself out of. I have heard many concepts out there. I know there is a lot of even old school traders. I know they mentioned like Al Brooks, and there's ICT that's out there. There is, all these different types of concepts. One, I'll be honest with you, I've never watched a video on Al Brooks. I know the concept of just, the legs, and I've never watched a video. I've tried watching a video. I found it to be a little bit difficult for me to continue watching it. I have never watched a video on ICT concepts. I know that he has, there's different types of concepts that I think that he has. I don't know any of them. So take that for what it's worth. And I might show you guys something right now, and you guys might be like, well, yeah, that's this, Rob, or that's that. That's awesome. But this is what I personally have started to see, and started to, over the last 6 months of just looking at these every single day. And another thing that I do, and I don't just preach it and just say it, but I actually do it. I take screenshots of these charts in the beginning of the morning and at the end of the day, every single day. To nauseam, I do it. And at the end of the week, I will look through each day and see what price action did. Currently, on the YM, actually, I think in most indexes, we're what we would consider to be a blue sky breakout, meaning that there is no price action to the left of us where price action is currently sitting at. And that to me is scary as shit, because I have nothing to base my trades on. And I will not take trades in this scenario. Now, do we find this scenario a lot? No, but in the last 30 days, we have been finding this a lot, and it gets a little bit more difficult. Honestly, I like to I like to see price action. I like to see to the left of my chart what has been going on recently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's delete all the levels. And let's start with a naked chart here. Okay. Now I like to take a look. I do two things. One is I will, let's move this guy. This guy is ripping right now. So I like to typically start in the 4 hour. So I'll go into my 4 hour time frame here. And I'll try to take a look at my levels on, let's get rid of this guy. Okay, and take a look at my levels on a 4 hour. And what I'll do is I will start to see things. So for instance, when I see a down bar, and this is on a 4 hour chart, and I see an up bar breaking structure, meaning that it's taken out another swing high, or obviously you've got a gap here that this is gapping up. I will say, okay, well, this level right here to me seems like an important level. And let me get here we go. So I'll just mark it off somewhere down here. That's what I'm doing. I don't like drawing boxes. I used to do that, but I don't like drawing boxes anymore. And that's what I'm really looking for is I'll look for this level here where we get a movement out. We get another move here that obviously started this huge move. So I will mark this one off as well right here. So I just like to have my line going through the two candles where they kind of match up. The down bar, the up bar, where they actually, the two colors kind of meet. And that's the level that I will. And then here, I see another level. This is obviously a very recent level, but we had some big movement out of here. And that'll be my levels on the 4 hour. And then from there, I will jump into the 15-minute chart. And from the 15-minute chart is where I take all my trades. I don't trade on the 5-minute. I don't trade on anything else besides the 15-minute. So I know that on the 4 hour, I've got a big level here. So this would, for me, on the 15-minute would be the exact same level. So I would consider this to be a very, very high impact level for me. If price action was to retrace down to here, you might see a reversal back up. And that's where I paint those levels in. On the 15-minute, I also would see a level right here. Let me dot a line just so it kind of matches up. And you can see it. These are two 15-minute candles. You got a down bar, you had an up bar, and you had some movement outside of that bar. So that's actually what I'm looking for. And from what I have seen in looking at these charts for so damn long is that price action seems to come back to these levels and bounce off of them, respect them. And I really like that trade from 8:30 in the morning to about 9 a.m. That is honestly my sweet spot because you will see the market move crazy, but it doesn't move as crazy as a lot of people think. And if you can start to kind of see these levels being hit, you can actually get some trades out of it. Now today I would not be trading this because again, price action is what I would consider to be in the blue sky area, and this can just continue ripping on forever until it starts making different moves and starts painting other candles. That's when I can start to see, okay, well, there's another level that's here. Now we've got a range and we might want to take a shot from there. Another level that I would have here would be right here. Same scenario. So you got a down bar, up bar, 15-minute candle. We got movement out of there, okay? And then when I start getting these levels very close to each other, this is what helps me then start to formulate a trade. So if price action was to, let me see if I can do this, this guy. So if price action was to come down to this level that I had marked out and get a bounce, what I would do is I would then set up my trade to go long. I would have an order to go long right here, and I would put my stop loss below the next level that I mark. Very simple. And as far as my take profit, I would like to find another level that is a high probability level for price action to want to touch, which is this 4-hour level right here in the blue line. And that is pretty much how I find these levels, where I would actually indicate a trade. Do they all work? No. But I'll be honest with you, I've been having really, really good success on these type of trades and these type of trade setups. I really like the ES and I really like the YM. The YM does move pretty beastly as well, but it's a little bit more smoother price action. That's just my opinion. If we pull up the ES for today, let's just take a look at that. I turn on L Brooks when I have trouble going to sleep. Yeah, it's a hard watch in most cases, but like you said, brilliant guy. I know that I think they call him the father or the godfather of price action. And I mean, I even bought a book. I honestly didn't read a page of the book. It's somewhere here. I think I got it like 2 Christmases ago. And I have a very hard time with it. And it's just a strategy that doesn't really resonate with me. So I'll delete these levels from yesterday, and then let's just go over this chart really quick. So I'll go into the 4-hour, and let's get all of these out of here. These are some old levels from yesterday that really all get respected really well. I mean, you guys can see this, and that's why I post them in Discord. It's accountability, because some people give you levels and then they don't show you what the hell these levels did, and kind of show you where you think where's the donation link. That's a great question. I'll be honest with you, I thought that the red heart thing was that, but I think that's just to like the chat. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know where it's at. It's the first time I'm doing it. But the fact that you're even asking me that question, I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Love you guys. I will, which is something that I had to do. Again, this is all kind of new to me, so patience is great. As you guys know, I am a partner with TopStep. It's down here. It's TopStep Get Funded link below. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Let's just see if this even works. I've never tried this before. Okay, cool. So there is a link for TopStep if you want to try to get a funded account. Obviously, if you click on that link, I'm an affiliate for them. I do make a few bucks. It does go to the channel. I'll be... and I said I'm going to cover some other things about the channel, about the videos, the reason why I do some of this stuff, and I'm going to get into that there. So any support there on TopStep, fantastic. Makes me a few bucks. So again, we're looking at the ES. We're on a 4-hour chart, and all I'm doing is looking for the exact same things that we just talked about, and I could see them as clear as day. That's the first one where we had a down bar, an up bar, and we had just extreme movement up. I see another one right here. So I would mark this guy right there. I could see another one right there. Again, we're probably not going to get price action down there. And then this one I probably wouldn't mark just because it's already kind of been tapped into. So that would be a less likely area. And then again, here on the top, I don't really have much. I don't really have much price action besides this big ass gap that you have here. So you've got this gap that's starting right here on the 4-hour. I mean, this could be a range that gets tapped into, could reverse out of there, could come down and close that entire gap. And so I'm going to remove this one because I'm going to actually show you guys what I do on the 15-minute. So these are the levels that I would see on the 4-hour. And if I move down to the 15-minute chart, you can see those levels here again. Let me just open this up and let's see where we can see. Okay, so I mean, to me, clear as day, I got a level right here that I would be looking at. And we got some movement right here. That's it. Those are really the only levels that I would be really looking at. On the 15-minute, I can see a gap right here, right there, that has not been tapped into. Really small gap. And I'm going to draw this square. God, I hate these squares because they bring me back to so many bad memories. But I'm going to do it just for this sake. So right here, we've got a gap in the 15-minute time frame that I could 100% see price action wanting to just tap into it, maybe get a bounce. And then I've got a level right down here. So let's just say that this would be my play. If I can get price action down to here, meaning that price action would be doing something like this, hits this level, and I would anticipate it maybe going up to this level right there. I could then have an order to go long here, and my stop loss being there, my take profit being there. Obviously, risk to reward sucks on that, and I look at that now tremendously. If the risk to reward isn't there, then I don't take that trade. It's just not a setup for me. And the nice thing is that when you start looking at the NQ, the YM, you start to get different charts and different patterns that that you start to see and start to like. So that's kind of how I trade my charts. That's how I come up with my levels. And, in the future, I'm going to, I'll dive into that a little bit more and actually show you guys some trades. I didn't trade today. I have not traded at all the levels today, nor have I really traded in my cash account just because it's been a little, this is all new to me and I just don't want to make any other mistakes here today. So let's take a look at gold. Gold has obviously been on a continued downturn, and oil has just been absolutely ranging. So could be an NQ forming. Let's take a look at the Rob reversal. Jens Weiser. Sorry, hopefully I don't butcher anybody's names. Let's take a look here. So we almost had a setup here to go short. Now, again, maybe what he's talking about is if this candle here opens or closes as an up candle and does not breach the high of this previous candle, we might have a setup to go long. So that could be a setup that maybe that's what he's referring to. Since we've got the Rob reversal chart, let's talk about this for a little bit. So this pattern I started trading about a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, and I started off on the 1 and 5 minute time frame. And to be honest with you, I started on the 1 minute. I traded the 1 minute a lot, and that is what prompted me to have the indicator that would at least paint these candles for me when the setups occurred. And it was exciting because there's a lot of trades, especially on the 1 minute time frame. I would trade it between 8:45. I was trading it between like 8:45 and 11 a.m. I would cut it off at 11, and I would never trade the first 15 minutes of the open with this particular strategy. And the issue that I was having was my risk to reward. At that point, I was just using the bottom of the 1 minute candle. And then when I switched over to the 5 minute, I was using the bottom of the 5 minute candle. And I would just have preset determined take profit, which I believe was about, on the 1 minute was 10 points. And on the 5 minute, I think I was looking for 15, possibly 20 points. Can't remember. It's been a while. And sometimes my risk to reward would be great. Sometimes my risk to reward would be pretty shitty. And again, like every other strategy, I would have some scenarios where the first trade would lose. I'd get into another trade, it would lose. And then I was doubling up my position sizing, and I was just getting a lot of signals. And it led to over trading. So it was kind of the same bad cycle that I was trying to get myself out of. And I then, about 9 months ago, I moved over to the 15-minute chart. And I started to see that, one, we would have a setup maybe once a day, once every other day. I like that. So I liked that. I liked that scenario where I wasn't taking a lot of trades. And then, so the time conditioned for me, that's when I started to look at, okay, what time period has the highest probability of win rates? And I always seem to found that the 8:30 to about 1:15 was the best. We will say the 1:15 trades have the worst edge by far. And I believe that is because unless you get that initial push, it's once you get past 2 o'clock, 2:15, the algos start kicking in, positioning starts coming in, and markets get really nutty. So take that for what it's worth, on the trade. But that is my time period that I back tested on, and I started to see that the pattern, and with the combination of the ADMA, started to filter these trades really, really well. And still to this day, I mean, I get some comments on YouTube that, well, why are you sharing this? Why are you sharing this strategy? If you share the strategy, it's not going to work. Okay, well, yeah, it might not work. Just like any other strategy might happen. There's no strategy that has tested the age of time from the beginning of trading to now, at least not a rules-based, discretionary style, different story. But even the big guys, the hedge fund managers, the algos that are trading, they're constantly tweaking, evolving. And if one strategy, the Rob reversal on a 15-minute time frame, is moving markets, I'm a fucking genius. And I don't think I'm a genius. I definitely know I'm not a genius. Almost the opposite of that. So I don't believe in what the comments that I get where, the strategy is gonna stop working because you share it and you've been sharing it for free with people and it's not gonna work. Well, you know what? As a trader, you have to adapt in any strategy, and you have to look and be real with yourself, because you know what? The strategy might start not showing promising results, just like how oil session 1 happened. Just how I had a natural gas strategy that I started off with about 8 months ago. I don't trade that anymore. And there's going to be things that you evolve on. As long as you've got one or two strategies in your toolbox that you feel very confident with, that are rule-based condition trades, I think that you should become a better trader. That's just my thinking. So obviously no setup here because we closed above the ADMA, so no trade there. Let's take a look. It's right almost at 9 a.m. So again, in oil, session 2, if your trade window, obviously it starts at 9 a.m., there is a difference between session 2 and session 1 of oil. Session 2, you are allowed to take the first inside bar that forms from 8 a.m. to 8:05. Okay? It's not the same thing for session 1. So I know we get that question in Discord a lot each day. I should say each day that it happens, people will be like, well, I didn't take that trade because you said I couldn't take the first inside bar of the session. Well, It's not the same rules for session 2. For those of you that are new to Discord, I highly recommend going to my Start Here page. It helps cut down on a lot of the questions that members are kind of repeating themselves on. It will instruct you if you're looking for an indicator, instruct you where to go for the indicator. We have videos on installing those indicators, and there is an indicators channel that is dedicated to just questions to getting those indicators up and running on your platform. So highly recommend the newer traders to go there. And then another thing that I'll add here is we've got a channel that's called Trading Floor that I like to post the results of each and every trade. Keep that channel just for trades, for results of trades. If you have a question on my oil strategy or my gold strategy or the Rob reversal, please go into, there is a channel, or I should say a category in Discord that's labeled TraderRob strategies. Ask your questions on those strategies in their respective channel. And then if you've got an idea, which I am all for, I get ideas a lot from people. If you've got an idea on how to tweak a strategy of mine or one that you've developed, there is sections in Discord for that. You can go into like oil talk, ES talk, NQ talk, gold talk, where you can share that. We have an alternative strategies channel where if you actually develop a strategy that you've started to backtest and you get some good results, post it in there. Maybe it will help someone else out there. And that obviously helps keep the channel nice and organized. So I got a comment from Ed. It's the complete opposite. The more people that trade a strategy, the more reliable it will be. I had that. It's funny you mentioned that. When I first released either the oil strategy or gold, like the first 2 months that I released it, those strategies were on a heater and they were doing great. And I would get comment after comment after comment saying, you're an idiot for releasing the strategy. You released the strategy for free. And, now that the algos and the funds know your strategy, then it's gonna make it, unreliable or unprofitable. And I had a chuckle on that because, if an inside bar strategy is going to change the way the CL responds to price action, I find that to be a little funny. But I will say, to Ed's point, obviously the more orders that get put in certain areas, that starts to create a small liquidity pool. But I think in the grand scheme of things, on the NQ, the CL, gold, the ES, nothing that we do as retail traders is going to make a dent or any influence. They might use us. They might use our money. They might use our liquidity. I don't really care. I really just don't. I don't care. All I'm looking for is if the strategy has a slight edge, and if I can continuously trade that edge, I'm in a better spot than I would be looking at charts and just kind of throwing darts out there and hoping that something sticks. So now that we've got some time, I've been talking a lot. So if you've got any questions, I honestly can't even see. I probably could see somewhere, but I don't even see how many people are on the chat. Maybe I can. Let me just take a look and I think I could see this here. All right, so we got about 56 people right now on the chat. So if you've got some questions, now's a good time to ask them. We're just waiting right now for oil session 2 trade to come through, or to form a setup. So I do have some time right now. If you've got any questions, that's awesome. If not, I'll take a few minutes break of talking. The algos and funds couldn't care less about the retail strategies. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I got another comment. I mean, for the most part, 95% of the time, the comments that I get on YouTube are extremely positive. But then, you know, I'll get some comments, and you can't. I learned this just being in business, in sales for as long as I have been in, that you can't make everybody happy. And you know, you'll get some comments that will say, you know, that you're just becoming liquidity for the market, or you know, what are you gonna do? You know, I back tested the strategy in oil for 4 years, and it had I think he said it was like a 57% win rate. And my answer to that would be, is honestly, if the strategy that I shared with people has had a 57% win rate for the last 4 years in a commodities market, that, and I'm not even saying I'm not even saying that that's a correct number. I'm just going off of what the comment said. But my response was, I mean, I'd be pretty excited with that. I mean, I'd be pretty excited with the 57% win rate over the last 4 years on a strategy that's mechanical. It's the beauty of these strategies. There's really no way to bullshit anything. You know, there's with other gurus that are out there, it's very easy to say, "Oh, I didn't take this trade because of that," or volume wasn't there, or you know, there's 100 different things that they can say as to why they didn't get into that setup. With these trades, there isn't that. There isn't. The rules are the rules, and the trade is the trade. Yes or no. That's what makes backtesting it pretty damn easy. So I did get a chuckle from that one. Can you send me the indicator for the yen Q, please? So if you go into Discord, Fernando, it's in TraderRob's indicators section. So just go in there. First, go to Start Here, and then go into that channel and grab that indicator. Tim, so you're asking about the offset. So I originally started trading the oil strategy and gold strategy with no offset. And after about maybe a month and a half to 2 months of trading the strategy, I then added a 1 tick of offset. So we did have a 1 tick of offset that we traded for about 2 months. And I traded it for that reason, was that I was noticing that many times I was getting ticked in by 1 tick and then retreating. And what I found was that even though I was doing 1 tick of offset, I was still calculating my trades based on where the original strategy entry point would have been. So in essence, I was always taking a 1 to 2 tick loss, or I don't really like calling it a slippage because it's not slippage, it's actually an offset, but then account for a 1 tick offset. And I kind of felt like I was always $10 to $20 behind the 8 ball with the offset. That's just what I found. Also, couple that with, you know, February, January, or I would say more January, the oil strategy not being the absolute greatest, I removed the offset, and I haven't traded with an offset since. I honestly prefer no offset right now. So that hopefully answers that question. Apex orders aren't even in the actual market. It's all sim. Yeah, sim is everything that we trade in Top Step or Apex. I've never actually used Apex. I probably will dabble in there sometime, but I started off with Top Step. I honestly didn't even know about prop firms. I mean, I knew about them, but I just didn't think that I would qualify, I guess. Not even for the eval. I just thought that, it was like a resume thing, and like you would actually meet with somebody that would, help you trade. And that obviously what I thought in my head than what it was, in reality was completely different. And yeah, you are trading in sim. Even when you have a funded account that's not live, you are still trading in sim. Yeah, I know, Glenn. There is. I hear you on the sound effects, and that's why I even asked in the beginning. Maybe some very light music. It's the first stream I do, and it's the reason why this is not even listed in YouTube. It's really just for the people in Discord that had a link. I figured it's an easier way for me to work out the kinks. Before kind of opening it up to YouTube, if that's what I end up doing. I don't know. I might even just keep it for Discord because I think it helps with answering questions and kind of explaining what I do pre-session with my levels. Thanks, Mike. For that. I mean, currently, I know Money for Matt does have an affiliate link in our for Apex in what do we call that channel? Fund. If you go to Fund Your Trading, Matt's got it. Matt's the one of the Discord members who has coded many of the indicators. And pretty much been a godsend to the Discord. Him, D. Alex, you've been fantastic help. Eric, there's been a bunch of members that have just consistently been there to help out. Since we got nothing else kind of going on, well, we got no inside bar here. I'm going to kind of share with you guys maybe a little bit about my story and why I even started doing this. So, as you guys know, I am a real estate broker. So I am actually a managing broker and owner of a Remax office here in Chicago. And I've had that office for, since 2007. That's the year that I actually opened up. Talk about great timing as far as opening up a real estate brokerage. But it's actually worked out really well. So I am a managing broker, and I also do sales. I am a pretty big listing agent in the city of Chicago and in the suburbs here. So that is my main and really only source of income. And I 100,000% do not depend on any trading income, any YouTube income, which I'll kind of get into, to pay my bills. So that's one thing. That's, I think, a pretty important aspect to this. And originally, I started the channel because I started getting into this mindset of rule-based, condition-based trading that had specific rules to get into trades. And I actually started to think that if I can kind of do a video diary of my trades, that would help me out in the setups and mainly for kind of accountability. My brother-in-law got me into this trading business maybe 3.5 years ago. He trades equities, but he really taught me and got me into this. And the same with him. He does this, pretty much part-time. He trades all day because he's in the equities. He likes to trade stocks. but he does not depend on trading for income. And I was kind of in the same similar situation. And I found myself, or I kind of found myself originally saying, you know what, if I start sharing some of these strategies that I have worked on and I actually record them, I record them every single day. You see all my winners and all my losers. And we go through good periods, we go through bad periods. But the nice thing about it is that it doesn't even allow me to change my strategy. It doesn't allow me to take an extra trade or over trade. Because every day you see up 181, you know from the day before where that eval account sit at. And there's just no bullshit. There was no bullshit there. It helped me accountable. And then I put it out. I put it out there, and I started to see the subscribers starting to grow, and I started to see more viewership on the channel. And it wasn't until about I released the 15-minute Rob reversal that the channel really started to kind of, I don't want to say catch fire, but it started to grow pretty quickly. And at that point, I kind of felt like I was pot committed into this, and like I already was releasing these videos out every day, and I didn't want to get away from that because I'm a very habitual person. I like habits, and I like my scenarios and my trading. I just like doing the same things every single day. I'm big on habits, and I use that train of mine with my kids, with trading, with my real estate business. And how I approach pretty much every day. So once the video started getting released, I could kind of continued with it, and the rest, I guess, has been history. I recently hit 5,000 subscribers, which I've got a goal board on my thing that one of my goals was I wanted to go live in March. I wanted to try it out, so I checked that one off, and 5,000 subscribers to me, I thought would be a pretty big milestone. Now, obviously, this style of trading is not very fancy. It's not very Hollywood, and I get that, and I really don't care that it's not. So that, to grow this page or to grow this the YouTube channel where you can actually pay a bill, like if you had a car note and you wanted to pay a car note off of it, you need to make some pretty sensational headlines on some strategies and say 99% win rate, guaranteed never to lose, all the bullshit that we read every single day. And that's just not what I want. That's not what I want to do. So the channel will grow very, 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 very slowly, and I'm perfectly happy with that. In fact, the way that Discord has grown and how that is kind of come into play with my trading, with the videos, it is time consuming. And my main source of income, I'm going to say my only source of income, is real estate. So that is what foremost I must concentrate on. So there are going to be many days where I get pulled away. I get pulled away into a meeting. But I do get this nice little sliver between 7:30 and 10 o'clock that pretty much allows me to do everything that I want to do, and it doesn't really affect my business really at all. So that's kind of my story and why I kind of started the channel. Let's see if there's any other questions. Did I miss the oil setup? Shit, I did. Oh, man. So I'm looking obviously at the MCL here. This is not an inside bar, but on my TradingView chart, this is an inside bar. So again, I missed it. It's a perfect example of trying to stream, trying to do the videos, and trying to trade at the same time. So couldn't have done that any better to miss that second session in oil. So you guys would have gotten activated. Let's bring this guy out. I like this guy. This is my favorite chart, to be honest with you. That's why I use it every morning. All right, so in oil session 2, you would have got you would have had an order to go short right here. Boom. You would have had an order to go long right up here. Obviously, we get activated into the short, so this order gets deleted. Order cancels the other. It gets you into a short, and then it looks like it might be a big source bar, but let's take a look and see what this is. 26 ticks. So we would be looking for 26 ticks of target, and this is what this trade setup would look like. Currently, it's about 50% to our stop loss here. Inside bar setting up in 30 seconds. Yeah, I know, guys. I totally missed that. Send Rob hearts and emojis to get his attention. I appreciate that, but I missed it. I was stuck in my own story. I was in my own story, and I missed it. I'm gonna be honest with you too. 9 out of 10 times. I remember the last time this actually worked out, but 9 out of 10 times when I miss a trade, it's a winner. I'm just putting that out there in the universe. I'm hoping that this takes a big dump here and gets you guys in to take profit. But that just seems to be my theme. We'll see if it works out here. Of course, I took session 1, which I normally wouldn't do. Took that as a loser. But we'll see here what occurs on this oil session 2 trade. I know somebody asked about donations on here. I appreciate that. I love you guys for that. I don't really know how to do it. I know on some other live streams there's like a super chat button somewhere, but honestly I don't know where it's at, nor do I know how to set it up. I will maybe look for that in the future, but thank you guys there. No MCL setup on Ninja. Yeah, there's the micro crude oil contract did not have an inside bar, didn't show it. But again, this is just the way I trade it. I still base it off of the CL. So even though I am in the micro version of CL, I am looking at the chart for oil on the CL, and I base my decisions, or I base my setups on the CL. That, you're going to learn, is a pretty important key piece to this, because the CL is the beast. It is what moves, and it's not necessarily tick for tick, but it's pretty damn, it is close, but it can be off a little bit. Why not get back if it goes back down? That's good question. And I've actually run into the scenario a few times where I'll miss a trade, and then, price action goes back into it, and then, you could say, well, jump into it. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier as far as rules and conditions. And the reason why I implemented this rule for myself was that if I missed a trade, I missed the trade. Now, granted, if there was an error, or if I get an error on an order, different story. I can work with that. But if I miss a trade for whatever reason, I'm done. I'm not jumping back into a trade, because I believe that also puts you into the train of thought later down the road that if you miss something, the strategy is built around one premise, and that's a big movement out of that inside bar. And that's what I'm looking for. And I set that rule and condition up for myself that I wouldn't jump into a trade if I missed it for whatever reason. And I stick to that, because if I break it, then that just leads to me maybe breaking some other rules down the road, and I don't want to go down that path. So that's the answer to that one. It is a very slippery slope, Bill. You're right. Let's see what else I got here. Chi-Town, hold on to your potato. Nice. In the burbs. Yeah, Matt is nice when he helps you. He's pretty much been him and D Alex have been honestly my biggest allies in Discord and in general. I mean, they help out tremendously, especially when I'm off to work. I know that there's still a lot of questions that go on there, and I'm very grateful for the help that they have provided. Let's see what else. What other questions I might have missed here. Opposite. The Alex, we're in a gap open. Okay. Okay. I think I've pretty much hit most of these questions here. So now in oil, we're just pretty much looking to get a strong push downwards here. Honestly, this is just a pretty big wider range right here. So not much real movement in oil. Not much direction, I should say. All right, let me take a look at, let me pop this guy down. So I can now take a look at this. Let's take a look at the YM. Let's take a look at the NQ. Yeah, not much movement in any of the markets here this morning. Let's take a look at the Rob reversal. Again, no setup yet on the Rob reversal here. Yeah, kind of a nasty little range here now too. This seems to be the range here right now. I'd like to see this break out one way or the other. Another thing too is I get some questions on news events. I personally do not like to trade the Rob reversal or really any equities markets on very, very high impact news days like the FOMC from yesterday. And my thinking behind that is there is a lot of positioning that is done in the markets prior to that rate statement or whatever report is coming out. And it typically leads up to some pretty nasty chop. So I will stay out of those. I will stay out of those days on the 15-minute Rob reversal. I still will trade my morning strategies in oil and in gold because you got to remember that yes, they do get affected by the big news events, no problem. But the main report in oil is oil inventory, and since we've been trading this kind of all together, there really hasn't been like a crazy news story in oil. Obviously, we know oil prices are still up. Supply is a little strange right now. But in general, there hasn't been something like sensational that has come out. That will move oil markets pretty crazy. The nice thing is with these strategies is that we're just looking for small bursts of movement. And I believe that those bursts come from, from that inside bar consolidation range. And once you get that movement, we're looking for that quick hit. On average, oil trades at about 23 to 24 ticks per average trade, and that can get moved really quickly in oil. Same thing in gold. I would say gold, the average is probably between 18 and 19 ticks. And those can be moved very, very quickly. So we're not looking for huge moves. We're not trying to be experts in where we think oil and gold are going to go. That's not at all what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that specific little burst of movement out of price action to hopefully hit a take profit. And here, where are we sitting at? So well, at least you're in green right now, which I really like to be. I mean, it's a psychology side of it. Then you can ask, I mean, do I get antsy in some of these trades? Sure. I'm not antsy at all today. I'll be honestly with you right now, because I'm not trading in my cash account. If I normally would be trading gold with an E-mini and oil session 2 with either 1 E-mini or 5 micros. And do I get antsy about those? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, to be honest with you, sometimes I'll go walk and make my coffee instead of watching the trade. So today, very little emotion in these trades. Just trading on through Top Step right now. And in fact, I even missed this trade. So let me see. Let's take a look here. Do a short. I've got a really high feeling that this is going to get hit. I don't like to make those calls, but and I don't like to jinx myself. But the fact that I missed it, that's the number one key that I think that this is going to hit, and I really think that this is in an area here that we can take profit. Let's see what else we got here. Great discipline on my end. Yeah, Mike. Thank you for that. And that is something that has been very, 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 very difficult to, I don't want to say even obtain, but to work towards has been my discipline. But that I can honestly tell you, the fact that I don't take more than 3 trades per day has changed around my entire trading style, my profitability, everything that comes with it. Some days I take 2 trades. So that I think has helped me tremendously. Have I ever been to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange? No, but I have been across the street from it probably several, I don't want to say several hundred, but several times, because there's a big title company that we do a lot of closings at that is right in front of there, and the CME group downtown. But no, I have not. Reducing risk in half now. Yeah, why not? That's a good spot. This probably hit 68%, 67%. So right now you would have probably dropped your risk down to 13 ticks. I like that move. God, I can't believe I missed this trade. Literally, I'm on live and I missed the trade. That's awesome. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, one final push here by sellers gets us to the finish line. You told you to re-enter. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm okay. I'm happy. I honestly care more that the trade wins for the strategy than the actual monetary value that comes in these trades, because that just further strengthens my trust and faith in the strategies in general. We still need a push here. Can't count this as a TP yet. Winner on the short trade in the MCL. I'd have to take a look at that one. I couldn't see it being that off from the CL, but possibly. I'll take a look at it to see if that's right. And who remembers that trade from last, was it 2 weeks ago? I think it was Thursday or Friday from 2 weeks ago, where that oil session 2 trade took like 2 hours. That was absolutely insane. I want to say it was on a Thursday. Could have been wrong though. I actually got kind of lucky on that because I had to leave at 11 o'clock and got out of that trade, and that thing just reversed right back on me for it would have been a stop loss. So I did get lucky on that one, but man, was that a long ass trade. Kind of hoping that this isn't turned into the same thing. It'd be nice just to get this strong push right here. That's what we need. One more push. I think you're going to get it. TP is at 80.60. Yeah, I think that's where, pretty sure that's where we're at here. Yep, 80.60. Mike, you are correct. There you go. Full TP on oil session 2. So banger of a trade, guys. Kind of sucks I wasn't in it. Let's see, that would have been a small trade, 26 ticks, sorry. So that would have been 260, 180. That would have been about another $140 that I would have added to this. And then I wouldn't have taken oil session 1. So there's so many things that you can say, but the day could have been probably a plus 380 to $400 day. But you know what? I'm happy. I took my 181. I think I answered some questions here today. I want to thank everybody for being in the chat, all the support that you guys have given me on my channel, all the great comments. I will continue to be there for your questions and help you guys improve each and every day and help myself improve at the same time. So Rob, your streaming really helps the market. Great. It's not the easiest thing for me to trade, while I'm doing this, but I'll get better with it, as with everything. Again, wanted to say thank you. I will be ending the stream here I'll pretty much be ending the stream here now. If you've got any other questions, just put them into Discord, and I appreciate all of the support. See you guys in a little bit.